Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros. Going in hot.
We are.
Just kidding.
Keeping that.
Right. Hi, everyone. It's Joycey.
And Blake.
And welcome to
Savagely Scaled.
So glad I got it right that time.
You did. You did.
All right, guys. We're excited for this episode. We actually got a request from our one and only coach, Chris Simmons.
Yes, thank you for that.
Right?
For saying, hey, this might be a good episode. Also, hey, we could have tried to get this out sooner, but we had a lot of things going on.
We did. I was on vacation.
Yeah, and we had a lot of California visits.
That's true.
Stuff. So
some fun stuff that's actually upcoming. So, right?
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about Murph. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about the longly anticipated and trained for Murph.
4, 3, 2, 1.
So as you know, especially in our gym, we have been working on a lot of particular movements, and they have all been for a reason, because we will be doing, or for those who are participating this coming Monday, we will be doing Murph, which is a popular workout that was created by CrossFit in memory of Navy Lieutenant Micheal Murphy, who died in Afghanistan on June 28th, 2005. So this particular workout is known as a Hero WOD. Again, WOD stands for workout of the day, but a Hero WOD in CrossFit particularly means it's a workout dedicated to either a fallen soldier or a fallen first responder. And it's more an opportunity for CrossFitters or even Navy SEALs alike to take a moment and acknowledge all of the sacrifices that this individual made for us. And also, you know, an opportunity for everyone to get together and participate.
Yeah. Going into a background about Lieutenant Micheal P. Murphy. So he passed away in 2005. He was killed during a reconnaissance mission. His team came under heavy fire, left his position of cover to get a clear signal in order to communicate with his headquarters. With this, the U.S. Navy said he died fighting, and that's what is for that Hero WOD. It is meant to have you fighting and pushing yourself in honor of that person. So yes, it came out in 2005. It was actually the family who brought it to CrossFit. So they actually contacted CrossFit, and the reason why it's the movement tool, which we will go over, it was because it was something that Murphy did. He actually did a similar workout called Body Armor, which included all of the movements. So that's the reasoning for that.
Right.
Yep.
Such an amazing man.
Yeah. So it's really these workouts, the hero workouts, and sometimes the benchmark, but mostly for me, the hero workouts are the ones that are a little bit, they're like,
they hit home almost. They're just,
yeah. And they're rougher. They're rougher because you're giving everything in honor of this person. Mm-hmm. And it's very amazing to see how CrossFit, the community, has grabbed onto that. So it happened in 2005, and that's when the family reached out. And then fast forward to 2014, and that's when they came out with the Murph Challenge, which our gym has hosted the past several years, and Kingman for ourselves. And it's actually a fundraiser. And with this, the family has actually fundraised over $1 million.
Nice.
Throughout the years. So it's nice that we all suffer together. It's all for a reason, and it's giving back.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the workout itself and what it is. So looking at the breakdown of the workout, we are talking about a 1 mile run to start off, followed by 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and finishing it off with another 1 mile run. If you're doing it as prescribed, you're doing all of this in a 20-pound weighted vest. Mm-hmm. Fun stuff, right? Fun stuff. But I mean, again, something to keep in mind if this is your first year, you're a beginner and this is your first Murph, or even if it's not your first year and you're kind of trying to look into the workout and how best to address it. I think overall it's very important to, first off, showing up is a big thing. Like Blake said, this workout is a little more grueling than your average CrossFit class workout. So definitely being mindful of that, but also seeing it as an opportunity to meet a lot of your other gym mates. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I like Murph is I get to see a lot of members of the gym that are usually morning class or that I don't really get to see. And since it's such a big event in our gym, everyone's really excited. We all show up and it's just, some people tackle it in a partners, some other people tackle it, individually and just scale it down. But, just remembering that this is an opportunity for everyone to just get together and have a good workout, not really going in, beating yourself up for not being able to do it all in a 20-pound vest.
Yeah. Don't beat yourself up at all for just doing the workout. For this workout, when was your first time doing it? Like, what was your experience with this?
So unfortunately, most Memorial Day weekends, I would be on vacation or down in LA because I was like, 3-day weekend makes sense, So I didn't really get a chance to do it until last year when we partnered up and did it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did, break it down. I scaled it down for sure. We did it as partners. So that was a lot of fun because I felt like I wasn't struggling alone and I had someone cheering me on the whole time, like my own personal cheerleader, I guess. And it was nice, and I knew that I wanted to RX certain things. So I was like, I'm going to just do my best and try to, break it up and just work on my strengths. And running was a thing that I was like, I might be able to do that in a vest. So I was able to at least do that, even though I did scale everything else in the workout. But it was hard. I was sore for a few days. And it was kind of warm that day, I remember. Slightly warm.
Yeah.
So I definitely learned a lot in terms of like what I want to change this year compared to when I did it last year and some things that I can now do. Like my pull-ups are a little better. I would say my push-ups are a little better too. I might not be able to do a vest this year, but I think I might be able to do more of the other things. So it's just kind of working with that and my strengths and I think is going to be the smartest approach this year. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think you can try it solo compared to like
we'll see
doing it partnered, especially since I have to bike this year.
That's right.
Compared to running because of my ankle.
Hey, injuries are important.
Yeah.
You gotta be mindful.
I'm pretty sure that everybody here is going to listen and be like, oh, so she's hurt her back and now it's her ankle.
Oh, girl.
My tendons and my muscles are super tight, guys. It's hard to stretch them out and do the right thing.
Go what?
And yeah. And then when you hear like, oh, you have really flat feet, that's why your arches are breaking down. So it's just like cumulative of things.
It's a work in progress.
Yep.
A lot of things in progress.
So I did talk to my physical therapist that we have in-house and she was just like, you should bike. So I was like, okay, no problem. It is. Though I've been working on my running.
Oh.
Yeah. That's the sad thing.
Maybe that's why your ankle's a little junky.
Probably.
Too much running.
Probably. But yeah, this will be, I don't know which number, but I've done it since I started CrossFit. I think the only time I didn't do it was when we were in New Mexico because they didn't do it. They all went and partied.
Yeah, well, I was a part of that group for a while.
My first year was in California, and that was, I just thought it was a big event. They didn't specify that it was a Hero WOD until we got there. They didn't specify that it was a Hero WOD. So when we got there and they said, invite a friend, I would never invite a friend who's never done CrossFit before to this event. There was at least like 100+ people there.
Ish.
So it was fun that it was a big, huge event.
I've never heard of that many people in class.
And then we went running. It was fun running with everybody. But coming in, and I had done CrossFit for a couple months, so I had my water in my bag where I was going to do my pull-ups. There were people there that I was like, oh, I didn't know you were doing pull-ups here. Not that there was room for 100+ people to do pull-ups. Right. But it was just like, oh, okay, so we're just finding any space to do these movements. Probably should have done these in heats, probably should have, but
whatever.
Yeah. Back then I was like, oh, okay, this is just how they do it. And my first 2 times also, you had to do those movements. So you had to do the mile. When you came in, you had to do the 100 pull-ups before you can move on to the push-ups.
Oh, gross.
And like how we break it up, like we do our run, we come in and do like 5, 10, 15. So 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 air squats, and then complete that as many rounds to get to our number. Back then, it was you just completed it and you moved on to the next.
My goodness.
Yeah. So I've done Murph twice. Not RX. I do not care to do it RX. I don't have a drive because it's already a hard workout for me. And it's already in my mindset that I'm pushing myself, every year in a different way. So then I did it I always would do it with Toy. I always usually pick the person and I stick with them for a couple years to do Murph with. And she did it with me when I was pregnant. And I think she did it with me after I was pregnant. So when I was pregnant with Weston, I rode instead of run because it was really hot outside.
Yeah, no.
And they're like, we'd rather have you inside.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
I'm like, 8 a.m.'s going to be warm.
Mm-hmm. But they're like, we'd rather have you inside to row.
Yeah, in case something happens.
Yep. And then I was able to do banded pull-ups. And I think the second year we broke things up.
Yeah.
Because then we started noticing that people were doing that and that's what you did. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, okay. Like,
it's definitely the best way.
Yeah.
To do it.
And then went to New Mexico. We didn't do it there. And then Kingman feels like my home box that I had in Maricopa, where they would tell you why we're doing it, what makes it so, why this hero workout is so special, and that the CrossFit community has picked it up for Memorial Day, because we do Hero WODs, but this one to me was just really big that the CrossFit community hooked onto. And so like even in Maricopa, we'd go through it. We would have a big class. We would take a big, huge group picture. We would just hang out. And then afterwards we'd go to somebody's house to barbecue.
Oh, that sounds good.
But I feel like Chris does the same thing. Like he voices why we are doing this. Yes, it's going to be hard, but this is the reason and why you are fighting and pushing yourself for the honor of this person who gave their life, and that we are very thankful to live in this country and for these hero workouts. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he also touches on those things, which I believe are very well organized compared to, we're just having an event and bring a friend.
Right.
So yeah, I've done it a couple years. I did it with Toy when I came here. I did it with Miranda. Then I think Miranda, me and Colin did it as like a team of 3. Cool. So I like to do it as a partner. I'm just like,
it's your style.
Yeah. I'd rather just continuously push somebody and have somebody there compared to like me zoning into, I have to beat the person next to me, which sometimes I do. And it's forgetting why we are doing the workout.
Right. Yeah.
So even though you've heard those stories, and I've seen people on Facebook and the CrossFit Facebook groups and are like, should I do Murph? It's my first year, or I just signed up, things like that. I can't do it. I believe that you can, and your box should be well equipped to allow you to do it. Because even though it's a hero workout and you've only been in CrossFit for 3 months or 6 months or even a year, or you've never done Murph and you want to do Murph, you should be able to modify it to you and still have that workout. It's not, I can't do any of that, so what's the point?
Right.
Because we have different movements.
We do. There's a lot of variation in there.
Yeah.
And I think consulting your coach is another big resource that, again, you do have at your disposal, being able to, pinpoint to the person that's been watching you work out for the past few weeks and asking them, hey, what do you think is the best approach here? How should I tackle this?
Yep.
And most instances, at least at our gym, they do give us an opportunity, and they say, I recommend breaking it up. I recommend doing this, what works for you, and kind of tackling that way. And I think that's a great skill to kind of hone in. This is a great opportunity to do Murph and hone in on, okay, maybe pull-ups is something I need to work on, or push-ups. And, next year I'm going to do 1 extra push-up compared to this year, and kind of setting that starting base for you and kind of the coming years and hopefully the upcoming Murphs you're going to participate in.
Yeah.
But kind of setting that goal for yourself and saying, I'm going to go in, give it my best, and next year I'm going to aim to do a little bit better.
Yeah. And with that, though, there's always those modifications that we can't do. That we can do. So like how I voiced, like when I was pregnant, or because my ankle is like irritated, you can use the bike. You can use the rower. If your joints and the pressure of you running is not, but walking is okay.
Yeah.
I would suggest doing a long walk and being like, okay, I have to do an 8-minute walk. You know, most of us have those smart watches or things like that, or a coach does know, like, hey, they usually 400 would be good for you.
Right.
And then going into the pull-ups, you don't have pull-ups, that's okay. Ring rows, there's inverted ring rows, there's the jumping pull-ups, there's banded pull-ups. There's things that I would stay away from. I did banded pull-ups back in the day, but getting your foot in and out,
it's a pain in the butt.
And jumping pull-ups, I feel with that volume, sometimes we don't think of like our kipping motion. So we just jump up and down, up and down, up and down. Again, this is what you want to make out of it. I would go to ring rows. Ring rows are hard. And then I'm asking you to do maybe you've never done 50 in a workout and I asked you to do 50, or you've never done 75. So now we're at 75, or you do the full 100. That's a lot.
They're just as exhausting. Oh my gosh.
Especially if you're maintaining that hollow posture, you're doing everything that you can. And then
rough.
Push-ups. So like, Joycey, what your first year for push-ups, did you go to a box or did you
Oh yeah, baby. I was using the box for sure. And I think push-ups is one of those moves that like after a few year fatigue is going to kick in so hard. So I think I did start at like maybe a 16, and then I had to move my way up a little bit to a 20, and you know, by the end of it, and you know, I kind of worked my way that way, just setting a goal and being like, okay, then I guess the first half's going to be this high, and then the second half's going to be a little higher, but that's fine, you know.
Yeah, because
adjusting as I go.
Yeah, and you don't want to like break that form.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes we look at that by like, oh, we're gonna up the box, and it's like, oh, well, then I don't like.
Then I didn't do it right.
Yeah. And it's like, well, I don't want you to like break your form, and you're doing more of this movement than I've asked you to do. Yeah. You know, so be very, very happy to just celebrate this. And
it's so easy to worm. I worm all the time.
It is. And we're like, I'd rather you just go to a box and worm, because if you're going to do 200 worming,
yeah,
you're just going to get used to that bad habit.
No.
And then air squats, that's a big number. Yes. But we can do a box, or we can move it to a ball if our depth's not getting there, or if we're not used to hitting that depth, still bring in that box and that ball to kind of tap on. There's so many things compared to saying, oh, I can't do any of that.
I'm excited to work on the buns.
The buns. The guns and the buns.
The guns and the buns.
Yeah. But yeah, just be very
excited.
Yeah, it's a good workout. And even if, let's say you're like, well, you know, I have some of the movements, but I can't do all of it, then do a quarter. Like do a quarter of a mile, do 25 pull-ups, 50 push-ups, 75 squats, and another quarter. Or you can partner it with somebody. Or you can even do a half a Murph. There's so many options that we can do that. I don't want to hear any of you say, I don't want to do this, because people are going to look at me. They're not. They're doing the same workout as you. It may look different because we're different.
Right.
All of us are different. We all move different.
Honestly, I feel like half of the time nobody's paying attention to each other. We're
especially
just doing
a hero workout.
Yeah, we're just doing our own thing.
Yeah, even in the WOD, like the only reason like I look at people, because sometimes people are like, oh, why did you notice that of me? I was like, well, because I look around because of my ADHD. Like, is everybody else dying the same way I am? Or is it just me? Or I'm like, oh, wow, look how high she's jumping on the box, and look how low I'm catching the box because of my height. Yeah. Like, I just look at really dumb things, but it's never me looking at people and be like, oh my God, she's not even doing what I am doing.
Right.
You know, I'm more like, I am so thankful that everybody's here and doing this workout and we all look the same.
Yep. And then we're all high-fiving each other at the end because we did a good job. It's good energy. It's great energy.
It is. So it's very awesome, and I hope everybody does it. If you guys do it, please let us know. Like, message us, DM us.
Let us know how it went.
Yeah, and if you took any of this, like, oh, hey, I ended up quartering it, or hey, this was my first year, this is how I felt. Like, let us know, or just tell us about your event and what your box does. Like, each box celebrates it differently, and we love to hear what each box does.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, Mama Joycey out here. And also be very smart about, preparing for the workout, making sure to hydrate the day before, the day of. Make sure you're wearing your sunscreen. I like to wear a little hat to keep the face covered. It's going to be hot out there. So just make sure you're taking care of yourself, preparing as best as you can, since it will be a grueling workout. And also just, if you can put on some running shoes, that might be really helpful also.
Yeah.
Just looking
very
out.
helpful for Mama Joycey.
Yes. Stay safe, kids. Stay safe.
All right, and that's it for this episode. So our findings were from barbin.com, cnn.com, and
the murphchallenge.com.
And again, guys, please let us know how Murph went for you. If you guys have any recommendations of episodes that you want us to talk about, like this was a recommendation from Chris Simmons or Coach Chris. Yes. Feel free to email us at savagelyscaled@yahoo.com, savagelyscaled1@gmail.com. Yes, we do have two, guys. We're that special. We're trying to get our crap together. Or you can DM us at our Instagram at savagelyscaled, along with TikTok, which is also at savagelyscaled.
Nice. Keeping it simple.
Yeah, with the 2 emails, guys. But
that's it.
Until we meet at the whiteboard again. Bye.
Later.